Well, hey, I'm going to introduce you guys to this guy. This is Ty Greene. Ty works at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes here in the Tennessee area, the Eastern Tennessee area. He is a Knoxville native, and he's awesome. And I'm so glad he's here because tonight is week 3 of our new series on Dethroning Idols, and tonight we're talking about sports. Now, where's my athletes in the room? If you're an athlete.
Yeah.
All right, you see that. I told you we have like so many athletes. Who in here is not an athlete? Okay, now some of you raised your hand that said you were an athlete. I'm really confused. Okay, who doesn't play sports at all? 1, 2. So as you can see, we have a bunch of athletes, bro. It's good. It's good. But tonight, I brought Ty in because we're going to do a little Q&A. I want you to kind of hear his story. Just a quick intro. He was a former professional basketball player. He played in the NBA D-League, is that correct, or the G-League?
G-League now.
G-League now, but it was the D-League then?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And he played up in the Philadelphia, is it Delaware?
Yep.
Delaware? Yeah. So I'm going to let him share his story, but make him feel welcome. Come on. Give him a round of applause. Make him feel welcome. They're awake now. So
there we go. We got
him.
man.
So go ahead. Share.
All right, real quick, though. Middle schoolers, raise our hand. Okay. All right. We're talking about a mission trip for the high school, so middle school, I'm going to take y'all somewhere. So where do y'all want to go? They get to go to Boston. Where are we going?
We'll go to the beach. We'll go to the beach.
Hawaii? I'm in for Hawaii. Parents in the back, we'll talk about some funding later. Middle school, we're going to Hawaii. Also, confession, I stole this from that thing, Tyler.
You're a sinner.
So, yeah. Confess your sins before others. I stole this bottle of water when I was waiting in the back, mouth getting a little dry. So real quick, let's play a game. Everybody stand up real quick. This will be easy. Okay. All right. Here we go. Because we are all athletes, even if you didn't raise your hand, you are. All right. So let's get in a little ready stance. Get those knees bent. All right. Hands up. Hands up. There we go. All right. Now, when my hands cross, we clap. All right. We are up here in Clinton. It's okay. We're going to get a little rhythm. Okay. We'll get some rhythm, even though we're in Clinton.
Was that a slam?
It was. All right. Prove me.
Wow.
When my hands cross, you guys clap, right? Okay, here we go. We ready? All right. Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
Ty's trying to trick us, so we know. All right, here we go. Now, that was a practice. Now we're ready. When my hands cross, you clap. All right, here we go. Ready, stance. Here we go.
Y'all.
Okay.
Y'all.
All right, here we go. We're going to go on the 4th one, all right? Here we go. Ready, stance. I said the 4th one. I even told y'all.
Dude, they don't listen. They don't listen to me. They don't listen to you.
All right. Good job. All right, everybody can take a seat. You guys failed. No rhythm.
I mean, bro, like, come on now.
All right.
How you going to pick on my kids like that?
Yeah, coming and throwing
Yeah.
heat early.
Well, I mean, you know, they are mostly middle schoolers. And they don't know how to clap, so.
All right, guys. Hey,
I mean.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I'm going to tell you guys my story first. And just, you know, for the longest time, you know, where the enemy wants to get you, because you guys might have grown up like me. Not all, but I would say a fair amount of you probably grew up like me. And just know God will use your story. It doesn't matter if you got saved when you were 8 and grew up in church and you have mom and dad at home and you've loved Jesus for a long time. Don't shy away from that. Your story is powerful. Your story will impact people. So my story is I grew up in Knoxville, okay? We live in the Bearden area. That's where I grew up. Had a mom and dad at home. I had grandparents who loved Jesus. They didn't force it down our throat, but they showed us what a Jesus-loving marriage looks like and how you're supposed to handle yourself as a Christian. Me and my brother, that's all we knew. We didn't know any fighting, any craziness, none of that. We just saw 2 people who loved Jesus and loved their kids. That's what I knew. So we grew up going to church. Remember, I had a conversation with my dad when I was 8. Right? I knew my 8-year-old self, like I knew I was messing up and I knew what sin was. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, I need Jesus to take that, in my 8-year-old words. And from that point on, as an 8-year-old, I followed Jesus. Every year grew closer and closer. And, you know, sports was a huge part of that. Even from a little guy in middle school, my middle schoolers, all right? I was that kid trying to get people to come to FCA, trying to get people to come to church. You know, hey, spend the night at my house because you guys aren't going to church, but we'll take you, okay? Middle school, all right? We can get caught up in this kind of game of, man, I'll figure all that out when I'm later, you know, when I'm older, you know, when I'm in high school or college or after college. Like, your story will impact now. And I grew up playing baseball, basketball, football, running track. Did that through middle school. High school came around. I went to Bearden High School, fairly large school, focused on basketball and baseball. Those were actually, football to this day is my favorite sport. I love football more than anything. But basketball and baseball was my route. Grinded at it, all right? Put in work, you know. Didn't just say I wanted to be good. A lot of people, from athletes in here, a lot of people will say they want to be good because that sounds good, and they see him or her out on the field or the court, you know, showing out. There's a lot that goes into that. So that's what I worked for. And, in high school, was blessed, very blessed athletically to kind of grab a starting spot as a sophomore in baseball and basketball. We went to the state tournament in both. And through high school, as I started to kind of become a little bit older, I knew, man, God blessed you. You better go use that platform. So for me, that was kind of FCA. I did it in middle school and in high school, kind of took a leadership position with FCA, and I said, all right, God, man, if I'm going to do this and go on the court and be who I say I am, we got to have an impact on this school and this community. So for me, FCA was kind of my route to bring people closer to Jesus, to go to athletes who will never step foot in a church. That's why I love what I do with FCA. There are certain athletes, they will not come to church, but they'll come to FCA. So I knew that, and I saw that. So I was trying to get kids to come to FCA, and, was moving towards Division I opportunities in basketball and baseball. Like I told you, I was blessed beyond what I deserved. So I was praying through, all right, Lord, what do you have for me? You know, if you play sports, you want to go D1, right? That's kind of everybody's goal. And I had the opportunity in both. I was crazy blessed, all right? Crazy blessed. A lot of people poured into me to allow that to happen. So basketball was my route. We won a lot of games at Bearden. State runner-up, hurt like crazy to this day, 2011. Got beat by a team that we probably beat 7 times out of 10, probably. They got us in the state championship game. So I moved on to college, signed a Division I scholarship in basketball to a school called South Carolina Upstate. Just 3 hours, just right over the mountain there. And when I got to college, y'all, I had 3 goals. Said, I want to let everybody on this campus know that Ty's here for Jesus. He's not here for all the crazy stuff. He's not here to party. Okay, he's not here to get girls. He's not here to, smoke weed, drink, do all that, garbage that we see athletes get caught up in. He was here to love Jesus on his campus and go and play and be different. That was the first goal. The second goal is I wanted to graduate. And the third goal is I wanted to be really, really good at basketball. Right? Again, I wasn't going there. I wasn't leaving home. I had a beautiful chocolate lab. I had a group of friends, parents, family. I wasn't leaving all that to go be average. So for me, it was grind time right when I got to campus. Waking up at 5, staying up late, working. And freshman year, I set a goal. I said, all right, I got to get a starting spot. we got to figure this out. Let's get one. Got one. And remember, first ever college game was against Arkansas, who's about to play in the Sweet 16. Guarding a guy his name was Kai, not Ty. His name was Kai. All right, that's a cool name, Kai. He was a 5-star on Rivals.com. First matchup ever, right out of the gate. We're playing Arkansas. You got a 5-star. I was like, whoa, little white dude from Knoxville. All right, here we go. It's go time. Okay, life came at me fast. My mouth was so dry on that court, y'all. I couldn't even swallow. I was like, So freshman year it ended. We had a really good year. I got Atlantic Sun Freshman of the Year, so best freshman in the conference. Fast forward to my junior year, having the best year of my life, averaging 16, 5, and 5. All right, that's called putting it on people, is what that is for your boy. Okay, 23 games into our season, we're having a walkthrough. How this happened to this day, I don't know. We're having a walkthrough, and one of my teammates decided he was going to take off real quick. I don't know. we're barely jogging, bro. Why are you running? Boom. He tucks off. I kind of come behind him. Sounds like a gunshot goes off. So everybody's kind of doing this number. Like, oh, am I good? Am I good? Am I good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I look down, look at my hand, and I got 3 fingers going that way. And I like to tell this story. I don't know if this is Christian of me or not, but I looked at my hand. I knew it was my shooting hand, obviously, because it's always going to be the shooting hand. It would not be the offhand. And I knew my hand was broken right there. 23 games into the best year of my life, averaging 16. NBA scouts were coming to our games. That's pretty cool, all right? So I knew my season was over, and there were like those double doors, like if y'all saw those double doors right there. I walked to them, and I kicked it with my foot, and I walked out of the gym. It's kind of cool. Thankfully, nobody was on the other side, but I kicked that junk open. Then I went into the training room, put my hand on the table, showed our trainer, and then I started crying, literally, because I knew my season was over. So anyway, that's my cool walkout story. I kicked that thing hard.
Did doves fly out behind you as you did it?
I think so.
Was there an explosion?
Heavens opened. And,
the Lord was leading you out the door?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. I won't tell y'all what I said when I walked out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So I break my hand. So God took the best season of my life, kind of a storybook type season was happening, and bench, not playing anymore. You're in a cast. What are you going to do? It's super easy to be that Christian guy or girl when everything's great, right? Praise God. Jesus loves you. And you're really encouraging when things are going well. But what about when things suck? Where are you going to be? And that's what my dad told me. He said, listen, Ty, you haven't had a ton of adversity since you've been at Upstate. You were freshman of the year. You started every game since you've been on campus. And your coach there are 40 minutes in a basketball game. My coach let me play 38 of them. Not a ton of adversity. All right, it wasn't always easy, but there was, So my dad told me, who are you going to be when it's not great? And I was like, dang. I was like, all right, we got to do this. So the Lord told me, he said, I'm giving you a platform now that you didn't have before. Because y'all, when things aren't going well, people are going to watch you as a Christian. And they're going to say, okay, now what? And y'all, people would come up to me and say, I just can't believe how you're handling this. Like your season just ended. You were having the best year ever. And you know what? You're still consistent in my life. And you're still asking about me and encouraging me. Like you're still doing this. That's what Jesus does through us. Because that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to complain and do all that stuff because it wasn't going my way. People will watch you when things are going bad. Know that. Okay? Fast forward to senior year. Hands better. I set some pretty high goals that year as a senior. Ended up getting Atlantic Sun Player of the Year, best player in the conference. And then I get a call from the NCAA to go up to the Final Four. I was like, all right, cool. Tyler's Kentucky Wildcats were playing that year.
Let's go Cats. Come on.
Praise God that they lost. They were undefeated.
I'll pray for you, bro.
They were undefeated and they lost to Wisconsin. I'm sorry about that. So I go up.
I have no comeback.
I go up there to the Final Four, and they say, you've gotten Mid-Major National Player of the Year. For y'all that don't know, there are 5 major conferences. You got the SEC, the ACC, Pac-12, Big 10, Big 12. Everything else is considered a mid-major. There's like 30 conferences. I was Player of the Year. Went up to the Final Four, got to experience all that, and got a national award. After that, I got drafted into the NBA D-League at the time, is what it was considered the G League now. Gatorade came in with a huge sponsorship, and now the D-League players get paid more because of Gatorade. I missed that. I didn't get paid what they get paid today. Actually made me mad. The year after, Gatorade took over, and those guys got paid a lot more money than I did. So I'm with the 76ers. I'm playing. It's going, had to grind. But again, I set goals. Get a starting spot. Don't know how I'm going to do. I'm playing against the best players in the world. First round draft picks, NBA guys. I mean, this is it. Grab a starting spot. About 6 games in, never let it go. Ended up for the year averaging about 12 points a game, 11 points a game. We had 2 guys get called up to the NBA. So coach approached me and said, hey, your scoring role needs to expand a little more. I was like, where you been with that all year? I've been ready. You don't have to tell me to shoot the basketball. All right. So guys got called up. I scored. We played 50 games. So the second half of the year, over the last 25, I averaged 17 points a game. All right. Here's the interesting thing that God did in my life. even though I was playing the best basketball of my life, I felt during the whole season that God was pulling my heart away from the game. That didn't mean I didn't play as hard or put as much into it. I felt God tugging my heart to say, I got something else for you. You don't know what it is yet, but I'm pulling you away. And I felt that, and I knew what was happening. And I remember, y'all, the last game we ever played, I ripped their head off. Okay, we can say that in church, right? Athletes, yeah. I put it on them. I scored 28 points last game, and I took off that jersey, and I sat it down on the floor. And I remember I stared at it for like 3 minutes, and God was like, you will never put one of these on again in this way, you know? And what ended up happening was I knew God was calling me to ministry. I didn't totally know what that was, but I knew that I had to be obedient to that. Because when God is calling you to something, it could be a conversation, it could be going to this school or that school. It could be going into this job or that job. It doesn't matter. You know, you feel that pull on your heart. So after 1 year in the D-League, and y'all, this was 2015, 2016. This wasn't that long ago. And God called, you know, I was playing, you know, I was knocking on that NBA door. Like y'all almost saw me on TV. Like it was very realistic. It was getting very close. That's how well I was playing. God had something else. So, and I don't tell y'all all those statistics. You know, my senior year at Upstate, I was top 10 in the nation in scoring and top 10 in the nation in steals, just in case anybody didn't think the white boy could D up, because I could. All right? Don't play with the ball in front of me. I'll take it, okay? I don't tell you guys all the statistics and the awards to pat myself on the back or, you know, puff my chest out or tell you to go to look up the YouTube highlights, right? That's not what it is. What it is to say, I had all this success. On a basketball court, I experienced almost everything you can experience on a basketball court as an individual player, besides playing in the NBA. Everything. But outside of Jesus, it's nothing. And it doesn't matter what you do. It could be sports, academics, friends. We'll get into a little bit of that. Tyler's got some really awesome questions that he really took the time to go into. But I don't tell you guys all those awards in my basketball and my life journey to say, man, like, look at him. I don't care about that. I don't have any of those trophies, those awards. My mom has all that. I don't have it. I don't care about it. What I care is I can stand in front of y'all and let you know, like, it's Jesus. If you have success, it needs to be Jesus. Because when we start puffing our chests and doing all that, we've missed it. It's easy to get caught up in that. So that's my story, y'all. At Upstate, when I got to college, man, FCA, I jumped in there. I got involved in the right things early. Middle school, high school, get involved in the right things. Don't wait. Makes a huge difference when all this stuff is thrown at y'all. Okay, so that's my testimony, my basketball, my Jesus testimony wrapped into one. We'll get into some questions here, but yeah, that's Ty Greene. So
that's awesome. Can we give Ty just a round of applause for sharing that? Man, that's I can't imagine being good enough at basketball to actually go pro. Like, I'm 5'8". There's no way, bro. Like, I have no chance. But man, that's awesome. So we're in the middle of this series called Dethroning Idols, and we've been talking about idols in our lives and things that we all place on a pedestal that Jesus deserves. And we talked about our comfort and being mission-minded. We've talked about our image and our reputation and how we're called to be bearers of light and to go out and to share the gospel and to put Jesus on the faceplate of our life and not our name. And with that, with sports, it's common knowledge to know that sports have become an idol. Would you all agree with that? Have sports become an idol in your life? How many in here just play sports outside of school sports? Just curious. Quite a few. How many of you guys are gone on the weekends for sports? Yeah, it's a lot. And the thing that happens so quick is that sport can become an idol. So for you, Ty, with all the experience you've got, did basketball ever become an idol?
So I would say for me, if we were being honest, it did not. God will give you opportunities. You know, before a game, y'all, I was that kid, I was about to throw up. Like, no joke. It didn't matter. I went to Bearden. Y'all know we hoop down there. That's what we do, all right? You grow up, you hoop at Bearden, all right? It didn't matter if we were playing the worst team in our district that I knew we would beat by 40. I was about to throw up. So what I had to do, Tyler, before those games, I had to lock in with Jesus. I was a wreck. So God gave me those opportunities to say, all right, you got to pour into me or you'll get consumed by it. So for me, with basketball, I kind of, I had to keep Jesus at the center or I would get consumed by it. However, though, in terms of an idol, my sports passions with my teams absolutely has cropped up as an idol, even to this day. That is a battle for me. I love the Tennessee Vols. I love the Atlanta Braves. Those passions can really elevate. We all have a passion in this life. It doesn't have to be whatever, music, okay? Doesn't matter. It could be academics. So those passions with my sports teams are what more specifically can be an idol than actually my basketball was.
Yeah, totally. So now with the concept of the idol, being in the D-League, was basketball an idol for most of those guys because they were chasing the money?
100%.
Like
100%.
So the guys you were around, basketball was it for them. If it failed, life was over.
I'll share a couple, D-League experiences to that point of watching people make something their whole world, right? That's it. There was, I played with a guy named Baron Davis. Baron Davis played with a guy named Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson's bankrupt right now. That dude made hundreds of millions of dollars because he lived it up so much that it collapsed on him. Like it was his whole world, the money and the fame and the basketball. So, I would watch teammates. This is a true story. Dude's in the NBA right now, scoring a ton of points, making a lot of money. I watched him on his phone one day. I was like, I couldn't believe it. He was buying shoes. Okay, all right, fair enough, right? You're on an NBA contract. You can buy shoes. I was not on an NBA contract, by the way. He was. I wasn't. And he's just scrolling and like tap, would go to the cart, tap, go to the cart. And so I start watching. I see a 25 symbol in his cart. I'm like, bro. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm seeing Jordans. I'm seeing designer shoes. And he goes, I'm just buying shoes. I was like, okay. So anyway, he finished, and I watched somebody spend $25,000 on shoes just on their cell phone. Like normally we need a laptop to go down that route, right? No, he's just on his phone, like, okay. So
25,000
on his phone, just
not 100,000.
Yeah. So
oh my God.
There are many stories like that. I had a teammate, another NBA contract. He got traded. He left all his stuff. He flipped the keys to his 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee to our teammate, and the guy says, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm moving across the country. I'm going to another team." And he's like, "Cool. Why did you just give me your car keys?" He said, "Keep it. I have like 6 more." 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee, which at the time it was 2015, so brand new. Just all kinds of crazy stuff, y'all. Like money, fame, girls, partying, drug, all of it. I watched it. I didn't go into that, but I saw it happen. Opened up opportunities, but I watched people, NBA players, right? These guys that have everything get consumed by it because it was an idol. I watched it. There are many stories like that, and we'll probably get into how Jesus kind of worked through some of them. But yeah, I watched it happen with constant teammates who got consumed by their passion, right? Their passion consumed them.
Man, that's wild. I can't believe $25,000 on shoes. Whew. Like $25, and that's a lot, y'all. Like, come on. But so with that concept, so you got to see that world, and you got to see the idolization of a sport and the idolization of something, not someone, being Jesus. And kind of where we've centered our series around is the statement that God gave to Moses in the 10 Commandments was that you should have no other God before me. That it is only him, it should only be him, and it will always be only him. So within that, for you growing up in the house you grew up in church with that, how did you keep your focus on Jesus and your mentality straight, even being around all the temptation? Yeah. Like, what was your motive for that? How'd you do it?
To start, you guys got to understand that, I wasn't perfect, right? It wasn't all the time, man, dude's living in the Word, What you guys got to understand from me, and I can speak for Tyler because he's a good friend, y'all, like, we're people. We struggle, we sin, we mess up. So I remember being in y'all's position when people would come pour into my life, and I would be like, man, look at his faith. Like, that's a giant in the faith. Look at that leader, like, guarantee he doesn't struggle with what I struggle with, and that's a lie for y'all, just so y'all know that. Like, we struggle, okay? You know, Audrey's back there, his wife. Like, me and my wife got into a blow-up fight the other night. You know, like, that's real. And y'all got to see that with us as we're pouring into you. Like, we mess up. So, you know, in my walk, it wasn't always perfect. And I'll give you an example. So how I tried to stay grounded, like I mentioned to y'all, before every game, I had to seek the Lord because I was sick, y'all. I was nervous. I was like, you know, I did not love before games. Actually, it's the thing that I hated most about playing sports. Before games, miserable. I was miserable, okay? Once it tipped off, it was great. You know, once that first pitch in baseball, it was great. But before, so I had to seek the Lord. But it wasn't always perfect. And there's grace in that. But I just need y'all to hear that from me. Like, and I'll give you one example too. Before every game, I would take a knee at half court, all right? Because again, God allowed me to start, okay? And I didn't take that for granted. I took a knee at half court when ref's about to tip it off and I'm down on a knee. And I just wanted people to understand I wasn't playing for myself. I was playing for Jesus. So I understood okay, if you're going to be that kid that goes down on a knee, you better walk the walk. And that didn't always happen. I'll give you an example. We were playing at Upstate. And in college, you have like floor seats. Like these people pay a ton of money to sit on the floor. And I was playing, and I missed a shot. I had to always pray about my tongue in the heat of the moment. Okay, it could kind of get away from me a little bit because I was very competitive with myself. And I missed a shot, and I let out a bad word, like one of the bad ones. Like, you know, y'all know what that is. I let out a bad one. Okay, and it was loud. I was mad at Ty, all right? How could you miss that shot, you dummy, all right? I let out a bad word, and I'm running down the court, like I shoot it, and I'm running down that way. I let out a bad one, and there's this kid, like 8 years old, okay? And he was just looking at me, and boom, and his dad's standing right there, and it was so loud, and I was like, man, it didn't always go perfect. There is grace, there is forgiveness. I found that kid after the game, and I told him, I say, listen, I'm out here playing for Jesus, and it got away from me. I'm so sorry that you heard that. I've asked for forgiveness from Jesus, and I ask your forgiveness. It wasn't always perfect. Now, how I tried to stay locked in with my faith in the middle of sports and not letting it become an idol is I was in the Word. I was in middle school, and I was opening my Bible. I understand that's hard, but every night before I went to bed, my Bible was open. I would do a Jesus calling. I would just randomly, transition that time. Y'all got to be in the Word. If you want to know how to fight, you got to understand what the Word says. You know, my girls in here, all this garbage that they're throwing at y'all, be this, be that, okay? Y'all got to be in the Word to know who are you in God's eyes. My men, my guys. You want to be a leader, right? You know, I'm the leader of my family. That's what God says that I am. But if I want to lead, I better be in my Word and know what that looks like. So first thing that I tried to stay grounded so basketball didn't become that idol was I stayed in the Word. I got, obviously church, okay, committing to being here and bringing people with you that need it. There's a level of accountability when you're the one bringing people. All right, you kind of know you got to be on our game a little bit around them, and it's things like FCA, whatever club, be involved in Christian things on your campus. That's how you stay grounded. That's how you keep all your passions in that proper place. The Word, church, and then just Christian things on your campus, and that'll really help those passions stay in their proper place and not creep up with some of those experiences I told y'all about that I would watch in the deal. Y'all, I would watch these guys fly girls in from across the country, and they thought that was good. Like, y'all, they would wake up, like, looking at themselves in the mirror, like what am I doing? I literally had one of them tell me that. Like, he spent a whole weekend with a girl, like, flew her in, and he told me, he's like, what am I doing? Right? There's opportunities that come with that, but, I've watched this life consume people. So stay in the Word, come to church, bring people to church, get involved with Christian things on your campus, and everything will fall into its proper place, and those things won't come up and kind of consume you like we see not only with these athletes, but you probably have friends and family members that have been caught up, all right? And we can all get caught up, right? Like, nobody is invincible. There are Christian leaders that have gotten caught up recently. Giants of this faith that got caught up, right? Stay grounded, stay in the Word. Even if you're young, commit to that. You don't even have to be in the morning because we understand that's tough, okay? It can be at night, all right? Open the Bible, come to church, get involved with Christian things on campus. That's how I didn't let those things become an idol.
Yeah, that's good. And that's something too that I think all of us can speak into is that one thing with this series that we want you to get is that when we place anything or anyone above Jesus, everything else falls apart. In your life right now, just curious, who's in 6th grade here? Okay, awesome. So in 6th grade, you now have the chance to do things I never had to do because I didn't grow up in church. You did. So being in middle school, growing up in church, you heard the stories, you were around the people, and that influenced you, right? That guided you down the path you wanted to go. So with that, we got a few more questions we'll wrap up. But the biggest one is that to all my athletes and all my people in the room that are going to be watching this later, what's the one thing that you would say about keeping Jesus first and why it's important?
It's easy to let pride creep up when you're having success. You ace that test. You go play super well on the field. You got a big friend group. Super easy for pride to kind of creep into your life, and it kind of start to become all about you. This life isn't about us. It's not. If this life was just supposed to be all about us, when we got saved, Jesus would call us up, but he needs us here because it isn't about us. So, I would say for y'all, live in the moment. My middle schoolers, y'all are super excited about high school, okay? You're super excited about driving. My high schoolers, y'all are super excited to get to go to college or get ready to start working a job and making money yourself, okay? All these things you're looking forward to, and I did the same thing. I was always kind of looking ahead and planning and working hard. Stay in the moment because it will go fast. It will go really fast, and you only have right now to impact the people God's put into your life. When y'all go to college or graduate high school, a lot of these people in this room, y'all won't see a lot of them again, truly. And that blew my mind when I witnessed that happen in high school. I was like, man, I've grown up with these people since I was this big. Man, we went off to college, we went off to our jobs or whatever. I don't see those people very much. My point is, take right now and go impact people with what God's given you. Bring them to church. Like, this is dope, y'all. This is not every youth group. Trust me. All right? This is awesome. All right? Whether it's, FCA or Young Life or whatever, y'all, get them there while you have them, because this is, don't just look ahead. Oh, man, yeah, I get to go to high school, or I'm going to be, and count down the days. I used to kind of get caught up in that a little bit. Stay in the moment while you're following Jesus and watch that impact happen with those people that God has put in your life for today, because they're not necessarily going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good. So 2 more questions and we'll wrap. This is more specific towards the sports world, not as much of your experience, just as much as what you see now. Being an FCA, we're both in it, and we're around athletes and sports and all the things at all the time. And the one thing that I see a lot is that a lot of you in the room and a lot of your friends are so zoned in on that sport that life does not exist outside of that sport in high school and in middle school. And with your experience in the D League with guys that were doing that, how did you use your platform growing up, being the star athlete and being the basketball stud that you were, not just to glorify Jesus, but to invest in the people's lives on your teams? Because I remember you sharing a story about a guy that came to you needing prayer and you just talked to him for hours. So what did that look like? How did you do that? And what are some pointers you can give to us in the room that we can do that better?
Yeah. Just keep your eyes open, y'all. Like, people are walking around hurting. And, for my athletes in here, athletes are on a pedestal. That's just how it is. Like, y'all are walking around campus and, people want to be you. Okay? Don't be that guy or girl who's blowing people off and, big timing people. You know what I mean? Like, take that time and make people feel good. Right? I give a lot of talks, okay? I'm blessed to be around people like you a lot. Listen, y'all will not remember necessarily all the things that I said. There might be a couple things that y'all, remember, but the reality is that us who speak, you're not going to remember everything we say, but you know what? You will remember how somebody made you feel. And when you're doing that in Jesus' name, they're going to say, dang, that person, they loved me, right? They might not remember every piece of advice, but take opportunities, y'all, to just love people, encourage them. When you see somebody that's just walking around, they've had a horrible day, go up, and obviously it's COVID, give them a hug or say, or see them, right? People want to be seen in this life. Don't let people just be off in the corner. Something that I did in high school, Tyler, and that I will share. If I ever saw somebody eating alone at lunch, I wasn't letting that happen. You come eat with us. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. But I wanted them to know, I see you. Do that, right? Let's not let people be isolated. That's where the enemy wants us, even as a believer. He wants you isolated. Oh, you're the only one that deals with this sin. Trust me, right? She doesn't deal with this. He doesn't deal with that. It's only you, right? The enemy wants isolation. Y'all, we can't let that happen. So look for opportunities on your campus to kind of pour into people, right? Again, remember what I said earlier, this life is not about you. Sports is a platform for God to use you to influence people. And if you're caught up in the grind, head down, not doing anything else, just sport, I'm going to get better, I'm going to college, I'm going to get my scholarship, we've missed it. Because if God's blessed you, he did it for a reason. So keep those eyes open, looking for opportunities on how you can use that platform to glorify him. They're there, all right? All through your campus, and like I said, bring somebody. Y'all know people who don't know Jesus, who have a horrible family life, right? They need to be here on Wednesday because their home life sucks. I've dropped kids off that I was almost weeping having to watch them go to their door because of what they were walking into, all right? If you guys know people like that, get them here and watch Jesus put life in them, okay, when they have nothing, all right? There are opportunities out there. We can't get caught up in that, my sport, all right? God gives us this platform. Go use it, right? Because if not, what are we doing, right? Those trophies, I don't care about that. Who cares? Y'all do not care that I was Atlantic Sun Player of the Year in 2015. You don't. You didn't even know I did it. If my worth is that, I'm a little bit hurt. That sister didn't say, yo, you were A-Sun Player of the Year, right? I'm going to be like, why didn't she know that? That's a big deal. Who cares? Use that, impact people with the platform that God gave you.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. He's preaching a little bit. It's kind of cool. Last question, and we'll wrap up the Q&A. If you could go back in time, you're what, 28. You're barely older than me. My birthday's next Wednesday, by the way. I will accept apple pie for my birthday. But
there's a baker in here, right? Do you have one of your kids?
I'm a baker.
You're Tyler Baker.
Yeah,
and you also bake. Don't you have somebody that whips you up food
Yeah,
here?
Cooper Horton. I don't know if she's here tonight.
She's quarantined. That means she has an opportunity to bake.
Cooper, when you're watching this, bake me cookies.
Cooper, you're in quarantine. Yeah.
But the last question, if you could go back in time, back into the younger Ty, middle school, high school, and tell yourself anything to do different, or maybe anything that you want to encourage him to do better, what would that be, and how would you speak that into the lives of our students tonight?
I think it's a pretty easy one. Don't be a Tennessee volunteer sports fan. Pick another team.
Go Cats.
It's not an easy life for us Vols.
NIT, baby. Come on.
So, I kind of did touch on this earlier, but let me really encourage you guys with this, with this kind of being, kind of a little bit of the wrap-up. Don't look ahead. It's going to go so quick, and I know that y'all have heard that, all right? So, listen, I know there's a lot going on. Lock into this, okay? Now's the time for the phones up, the heads up. All right, I see those phones out there, all right? If y'all were my kids, your boy would be out in the stands right now with y'all. I walk around with the mic sometimes. Sometimes it freaks people out when I talk. But lock into this, seriously. Y'all don't know how quick this is going to go, and I know you've heard that. People are going to say, oh, it's going to go quick, just like that, okay? Listen, it literally feels like yesterday I was walking into Bearden High School as a freshman. I'm 28. I've graduated college. I lived in Philadelphia for a year playing professional basketball. I have a 10-month-old. Look him up on Instagram. He's that guy, all right? like what happened? Like, I can't believe it, literally. Me and my wife have been married for almost 5 years, 6 years. I don't even know. You're getting old when you're forgetting your anniversary, okay? Yeah, like we got married in 2016, okay? Like it goes so fast, and y'all need to hear that because what I hit on earlier, God put people in your life right now. You will never see them. Where are my seniors? Seniors, raise your hand. Okay, juniors, raise your hand. The people y'all go to high school with, here's the thought. The thought is, I'll see these people for a really long time. You won't. If you're not making an impact right now, okay, like, we got to do that. This world is tough. This world hurts, okay? This world is hard. People will not remember everything you say. They will remember you investing in their life. So my middle school, y'all are about to be in high school. I think we got Clinton, I think we got Anderson County, Oak Ridge, and maybe Grace in here, all right? Pretty soon y'all will be in high school and middle school will be done. High school, y'all are about to be in college or y'all are about to be in the real world and it's gonna be done. And you're gonna look at yourself and you're gonna say, what in the world happened? So if I could go back and talk to a younger Ty, I would say, dog, don't get caught up in the countdowns. I used to do that. At college, I could tell you the day that I got to come back home. Literally. I'd be like, hey, Mom, I'll be home in 43 days. Literally. Like, that's not a joke. My calendar, I would cross off the day when it fit. Okay, I would redo some of that. I would say, I know you want to be home. You're living in South Carolina going to school. I know you want to be back home. But you need to be planted where you're at, even when it's a grind. So, right now, just take inventory. Where are you at? Are you looking towards the next thing? That's not necessarily bad. God wants us to have ambition. But don't look to the next thing and miss what's in front of you. And what's in front of you is people. And what's in front of you is opportunity to say, Jesus loves you, and so do I. And we're going to walk this life together, and we're going to figure it out. All right? You guys all have those opportunities. You might think you don't. You might think, I don't have any impact. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. Doesn't matter if you're the star player. It doesn't matter if you don't play sports. You will have impact where you're at. You just got to take advantage of those opportunities. Don't look ahead. That's what I would leave with myself when I was in y'all's shoes, that it's going to go quick, and I know you guys know that in your head, okay? But just think back to middle school. Think back to elementary school. Like, it's gone. Pretty soon you're going to be in our position. Wife, kids, job, and you're going to say, wow. You're going to want those opportunities to invest in people for Jesus, all right? They're there. Just take them.
Yeah, that's good. Can we give Ty a round of applause? Man, so good, so good. Man, I'm glad you got to come hang out with us. And
thanks for having
me. And share. And one thing I'll say about Ty, I love this guy. I love his family. He's in it for the long haul. He's a fellow laborer for the gospel, and he's all over the place in Knoxville, and he's all over speaking and doing things, raising a kid, moving, got a dog. I mean, living the life, but also his story is important, and that's his heartbeat is for you. So tonight, I'm thankful he got to share. The one thing I'm going to leave this Q&A with this time is that the idol of sports must die at the foot of the cross. The idol of image must die at the foot of the cross. The idol of reputation must die at the foot of the cross, because as a believer in Jesus, you've heard this all series and all year long, as a believer in Jesus, the sole purpose of your existence and your breath is to glorify him with everything that you've got.